Hello, everybody. It is day 9 of following the energy in life and biz. And I am fresh from the spa, getting a facial and a pedicure this morning. And I was really looking at wow, how much my life has changed in the past couple years, because before at my 9 to 5, I couldn't just take off on a Thursday morning or just go to the spa whenever. And I had to actually give my work 45 days notice to leave. Does anyone have something similar in their job? Hello, welcome everybody. I get 45 days notice, and that was intense for me. I mean, forever I wanted to leave my job, and I was just very clear that I wanted to create something else. I wanted to have the freedom to create my own schedule, the uncapped income, the freedom to just work with people with how I wanted. And although I was very grateful for my job because I had a good salary and, the potential of paying off my student loans and all these things, and yet my soul was just pinging me over and over again. It's time to leap. It's time to leap. It's time to leap. Just leap. And so I did a year and a half ago. How does it get better than that? And if I had known what was possible and the finances I was able to create, the fulfillment I was able to create, I would have left a lot sooner. So I get that, how support is really required in this process, because it's big, right? To stretch outside of our comfort zone, and our nervous system gets all dysregulated and freaked out, and you can't do this, what's going to happen, and all the how that we don't know. And at some point, it's just having to honor me and honor that. So I'm wondering if anyone can relate, because it's what is your soul calling you to do that if you would just choose it, would change everything for you? So I want to quickly remind folks that Activate doors are open. So this is my new membership where I'm working with budding entrepreneurs around foundational things and skills for this crazy journey of entrepreneurship. And I say budding because it's these are really foundational pragmatics, energy tools that are so needed. And really at any level, these tools are needed. I am needed to be reminded constantly of these things. So I am just so excited to be creating a new program each month. Basically, we're talking about something different each month. This month, we just finished up Get Seen on Social, which was all about starting to get comfortable with visibility and expanding our capacity for visibility. So being able to be seen, be heard, and show up as us, because these are the tools and what's required really in order to create your biz. And for so long, I was jumping right into, well, let me do it this way, the way everyone else says to do it, and this is the right way to do it, and it's worked for this person, so that's, oh my God. And that was not helping. That was not helping me. I was going into contraction mode, and it was just not fun, because it's what's the point? Why am I doing this? I'm doing it because I want to do it, and I'm excited, and to create the life I want to live. And so for me, it's all about returning you back to you and what you know, what you're aware of, and what you could create in the world. And that's the muscle of self-trust that is so important, that's so needed. So in October, we're going to talk about let your biz tell you what to do, because it's very easy for us to look to others outside of ourselves and look for them to tell us what to do. But what if you could tune into the energy of your business and talk to your business and communicate to your business that way and choose and create from there? Because that is where the magic tends to happen. At least for me, it's just oh, okay, well, what can I choose here? What's going to work? And getting out of all the right and wrong. So we are starting next week, and right now we're on pre-sale. So if you use the code ACTIVATE at checkout, it's 20% off on the monthly plan or the pay in full for the 6 months, because it is a minimum 6-month commitment. For a reason, these things take some time to like get in the groove of. So that's what's going on. If you're like, I'd really like a taste and just do a month, I'm not ready for 6 months or whatever, I'm opening up a bundle, a taster bundle, so that you can be live at the Activate calls, be live at the masterclass, because basically it involves a program and a masterclass each month along with Q&A. So the bundle includes all the calls, just not the entire portal library and the communities and whatnot. So that way you can get a taste, a vibe of the calls, but not be locked in for 6 months if that doesn't feel light and expansive for you. Because I really always want you to be choosing what is going to create greater for you and what's going to be expansive. Not me saying, you should get this. It's like, no, it's not for everyone. Is it for you? Maybe. Only you will know. So definitely check that out. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about energy boundaries, because there's something there around being a boundary versus stating the boundary. And you know, as I've been doing all these videos every day, they're kind of building on each other. I did talk a lot about be, do, have, which means you have to be the energy of something first before you can be inspired to take action on things or have the reality you desire. Now, to me, like within psychology, they talk about boundaries like, you know, state your boundaries, say your boundary, hold your boundary, things like that. It's all very kind of surface level. And there was something more there for me that was missing, and it was the being part. Because think for a moment, who is somebody in your life that just bees power, bees authority, bees presence? They just own it, right? It's just kind of like, oh, you know, they're a leader just from their presence. You don't expect anyone to like cross their boundaries, those types of things, right? It's like, what is that? What are you aware of? Because that is the energy you're going to want to be in your life and your business, depending on what that is. And so what would it take to show up as that now? So it's kind of like people just know to not cross their boundaries. People just know. They just know, so they don't even ask. What would that take? So if you looked at or tuned into some of my previous videos from this 14 days, remember they're all being saved to the YouTube playlist, so nice, easy binging abilities. I did talk about like trauma responses earlier on in the beginning, and the one that tends to be that pops for me regarding the energy boundary and being the boundary is a fawning response, which is just the people-pleasing response. And I want to look at it a little bit different than the typical, like, you're a people pleaser, so you're always, you know, succumbing and bending the knee to others, or you're always, you know, putting your needs aside and trying to please others and over-compliment people. To me, I'm like, what is actually going on at an energetic level? And what I've found is my people pleasers tend to be very energetically sensitive, very empathic, very aware, in that you feel really dynamically energies that other people are experiencing. And so what happens is if someone's in, let's say someone's like in a state, they're kind of angry, there's some intensity there, and you start to perceive it in your body, it's like, oof, this is really uncomfortable. I need to fix this. And because you're tuned to the anxiety radio receiver, like the radio station, there tends to be a jump to judgment and making yourself wrong. I need to fix this. I'm wrong. It's just this like knee-jerk reflex. Is anyone resonating with this? Do you notice yourself do this? You feel someone else's state and you're like, oh, I need to fix it. I did something wrong. That's like your knee jerk. Did I make you mad? That kind of thing. And then you go into overcompensation mode of needing to fix the scenario. needing to fix the other person, change how the other person is. So what if instead you allowed your energy to be the dominant energy, to be the main one in charge, to be the one that you were resourced with, not the one that was like the codependent, energetic dumpster can for everyone else's energies. We can actually be, we can actually be codependent in energy as well. In energy, I mean, because ultimately, to me, that's like really the root of codependence. It's like, it's a codependent energy. And so it's like, we feel the energy, it's like, oh my God, I need to fix it. Because we're all in this big energetic soup. Like, I get it, right? But then we also kind of have our main energy and we're perceiving everyone else's. And it's like, what would it take to be in yours? Yes, trying to imagine an energy bubble around me and sending energy through a string rather than allowing them into my space. Yeah, so it's kind of like whatever visualizations you can use that facilitate you having more ease with this can be so helpful. And what I want to offer too, and what I've said before in a previous video, is that we still want to be aware, right? Because what's taught in this reality and in psychology is kind of like state your boundaries, hold your boundary, wall up, protect yourself kind of deal. And energetically, when we go there, we block our awareness, we block our intuition, because we're coming to a conclusion of like, I can't handle it. They're an energy sucker and I need to protect myself. And it's like a very disempowered vibe. And we're not looking for that. We're looking for empowerment vibes. And empowerment means, okay, I can lower my energetic barriers. I can be really aware of what is going on with them and perceive it. And I don't need to fix it. I can perceive it in my body really dynamically, but I don't need to fix it. So what would it take for me to remain that calm state that I was in my power, and be the dominant energy? Because what tends to happen is when we get around each other, we start to like calibrate to each other. We calibrate to each other's energy. This is why they say like you become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. Right? We kind of match each other's vibrational frequencies. So that means someone's always coming down or someone's got to come up or what, right? So it's like, are you always making yourself smaller, shrinking yourself down, contracting yourself to a denser vibrational energy because you feel like you need to fix it? Or you're wrong for being happy or grateful or in a good space? Like in order to make them feel more comfortable, you have to shrink yourself down. Anyone resonate with this? Like if you just tend to be generally easygoing and joyful, and then you're around someone that's in your space, you're like, that's the shrink down to that vibrational level. So instead, what would it take for you to just kind of stand in your power and stay in your state? And it's kind of like either that person needs to come up, come on board to that state, or go away. That's being the boundary. That's not you saying anything. That's just you owning it. I feel if my energy is too high and everyone who's not like that, I tend to shrink. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is like when you're really aware and tuned in to that, it's like, because you're aware, it's kind of like, well, because I'm the aware one, I need to shrink down. Or because I'm the aware one, I need to, apologize for whatever they're choosing. Relate? And it's like, is that not codependent still? Yeah, it is. And I mean, in general how this affects your life. You just want ease in your relationships, but how does this affect your business? You have clients that are coming in that are asking you to shrink your prices or give you a discount or give you, they're trying to take over more time in the sessions. They're trying to like kind of push the boundary of the time limit of the sessions. Where is that happening? Right? And so this is going to be really imperative as you're wanting to grow and scale to step into higher levels of being this boundary. I almost feel bad that I'm high vibe. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So in the moment when you're perceiving, someone else is just in a denser place and you're feeling good and whatnot, it's just like, okay, what would it take for me to continue to be here, be space, be expanded, and allow them to be where they're at, knowing that I don't need to fix it, I don't need to shift it. And if the guilt starts to come in, look at, who does this belong to? What am I aware of? If they're at a denser place, am I aware of their self-judgments right now, of where they're at? Right? Because if they're functioning at a lower energy, likely they're functioning from a lot of judgment. Because judgment is dense and heavy and contracted versus the opposite is not. It's space, expansion. It's going to feel much lighter. And so if you are seeking to be space and then you go into, but I'm feeling guilt now, it's like, well, is that your guilt, or are you aware more of where they're at? Not only just their energetic level, but what thought process are they going through? Are they going into judgment of themselves? Are they struggling with something? But then you perceive it all in your body and you just decide it's yours. Let me shrink down. Let me shrink down further. And I really love this question because you can filter like literally everything through this, which is, would an infinite being choose this? This is from Access Consciousness. Would an infinite being choose this? Would an infinite being choose to shrink down? Would an infinite being choose to feel guilty for feeling good? No. I feel like the bad guy when I say, actually, this is going to cost more for clients. Yeah, so it's kind of like, are you aware of their money stuff? I mean, we all have like money stuff to work through. I get it. And we're all kind of working through that at different degrees. And if you're going into like, it's actually this price, it's like, is that your doubt with it? Or are you aware of where they're functioning, like where they have stickiness around money, where they're unwilling to invest in themselves? I mean, that's something to look at, right? Because again, this is how our awareness works. And this is why I started with awareness as day one, because this is the foundational stuff. You experience awareness through your vessel, in the thoughts, in the body. And we are just so dynamically programmed to buy everything we experience as ours. That's our default, that's our reflex. This is my thought process. I feel bad. This is my anxiety. This is my pain. And that all solidifies it in the body to be true, right? I come to conclusion, it's reflected back to me in this reality. So what else is possible? What else is possible is to ask questions. Oh, I'm about to offer the price right now and I'm getting some like stickiness about that. What is that? What am I aware of? It's like, do I have some limiting points of view about it? Like, I shouldn't be charging this much, or I'm not worth this much, or they're never going to buy, or what, do I have something like that? Or am I also, or aware of the stickiness in the client? Right? And when you ask these questions, you put your attention to the energy, you're going to shift it. You're going to shift it by putting your consciousness to it. And so when something's light and goes space, then it's like, okay, not mine. But if something gets dense still, when you ask, who does this belong to? You can just ask, what is the lie here I bought into? What is the lie I bought into? What are my points of view about this? That I'm not worth it, that I'm charging too much, that no one's gonna buy it, they're gonna think I'm crazy, they're gonna judge me. I mean, the coaching world is really fascinating to me in this regard because, I mean, the sky's the limit with coaching prices. The sky's the limit. And, if you're not in that world, it's kind of like, what? Like, you're charging what? Huh? Like, for what? Because in the sense of, I get that folks are functioning from a different thing where it's not like tit for tat. It's not like, well, 1 hour equals this. Like, so I get this and I got to get this and I get this many calls. And so that's why I get this and I get out of this program. I'm getting my money's worth versus functioning from a space of knowing when you invest like that, how it changes you right away. It changes you dynamically. I heard like James Wedmore talk about this like years and years and years ago before I left, which was like the transformation begins with the transaction. And I was like, what do you mean by that? I'm like, you just want my money? I bought the course Business by Design very long time ago. But then I was like, oh no, I get it. Because it was like every time I chose any sort of class, course, container, literally within the first, within the transaction, there was like a rush of excitement, space, and it was almost as if I had, by that transaction, changed timelines. And you do each time because you're consciously choosing something else. And the money is just energy, right? It's just energy, and you're intentionally flowing it a certain way, and you're basically choosing and telling the universe, this is what I'm doing. How could you contribute? I'd love for you to contribute, universe. And this is what I'm choosing. I'm owning it. I'm being it. So what's it going to take? Right? And to me, that's like being the boundary with the universe. You have to go first. And I've gotten this reminder so many times. So many times. I have to choose first before the net will appear. It's like, and again, this doesn't mean close your eyes and be mindless about what's happening or not look at your bank account or things like that. It's not that. It's that like, stretching on an edge, stretching on an edge, stretching on an edge, leap, 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 leap. Knowing that I will figure it out. And that's how we build the self-trust. And that is what I get is just really not taught in a lot of business programs. There's not a focus on that. And I'm like, that is the root. That is the root. People need to know how to trust themselves and be able to choose and choose again, because it doesn't matter. There are infinite ways to do business. Infinite ways to sell, infinite offers, infinite. You can create whatever you want. So it's like, that doesn't matter. Yes, there's a lot of research and there's certain things that do a thing with sales and marketing. I get that. But what is really needed, and if you don't have it, will never get you anywhere, is being able to trust you. Being able to tune into you. Listen to you. And if you've been the people pleaser your entire life, hi, I get it. I mean, I really get that, because especially in the ballet world, for me, it was like, in that environment, it was like you were looking for constant feedback, critiques usually from the teachers. Fix this, hold your stomach in, change this, change that, do this. It was always like right, wrong, change. Like, and everything was kind of outside of you. You had so much feedback that I was just so like programmed to like, tell me what to do, that I kind of went into business the same way. Tell me what to do. Tell me what to do and I'll do it. Tell me what to do and I'll do it. And then when that kept not working, and I kept like getting distracted by the shiny object, but they're like having a 6-figure month, and how do they do that? Tell me how. And it's like, there is no how. They created the how after the fact. Yet that's what people sell, right? They sell, this is how you do it, and I'll show you how to. And it's like, oh, it's not that. It's me, and let me invite you into my world and show you the energy I be, what I actually chose, the skills I use when I come up upon things. And that's the how. And you get the how after the effect. It's kind of like, well, how did I do that? Well, I did this, this, and this. Did you know the how before? No. It's like you're walking down a dark path and you got a flashlight. The how is the dark path ahead of you. And it's like you'll see one step ahead as you take steps, as you make choices. You'll see one step ahead, but you won't see the whole path. You'll only have an idea of it after you get to your destination. So, if you could choose anything today, I would look at, what are you resisting choosing? What do you know is going to create the next thing in your life? Whether it be wanting to change your life, maybe it's a habit, maybe it's something in business. What is it where you are not being the energy? Where you're not being the boundary with yourself? Where you are kind of being codependent to other energies and needing other people to tell you what to do? Because that is CEO vibes, is you listening to you. How does it get better than that? And that is the muscle to cultivate. That's the strength to cultivate. So if anything calls you, whether it be my programs or someone else's programs, I just encourage you to look at, are they returning you back to you? And you building the self-trust so that you are building that muscle, because you're going to just come up upon new things all the time, new choices all the time, that you're going to have to trust you. And yes, it's really amazing to have mentors and coaches to get feedback from and help us with our blind spots and things like that, right? Yes. And it's a different vibe when you're like, tell me, well, how many times should I post a day? Well, what content should I create? Well, what's my sales strategy? What offer should I do? That's not it. Because energetically, we're functioning from a disempowered state. And to be the energy boundary, we have to be the empowered ones stepping into our power and being it. All right, y'all. That's what I got for you today. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about clarity. Then we're going to talk more about self-trust on day 11, abundance, and then I got to look at, what else do I have? Oh, I got to count. I might be missing two. Well, we'll see where we go, because I also like to kind of ping the energy and see what's up. But I get the clarity is going to come up next, because muy importante. All right, y'all. I hope you have a great Thursday. I'll see you mañana. Bye.